pony peeps, gamers, nerdlings, and all the things above and between, below, everywhere. How's it going? I have stage fright. I get camera shy. I'm a singer. I play in a band. I'm here to be heard, not to be seen. This is just weird. I'm talking at my camera. You guys can't talk back. I do have a peanut gallery here. I might heckle the peanut gallery to send me some quips and stuff. So burnout is a serious issue that we all deal with regularly, whether we realize it or not. It can hit all at once. It can creep up on you. The the symptoms are varied, and two people could have the same symptoms and describe them completely differently. It's as subjective as pain. And a fun thing about pain that I learned this year is, when the doctor asks you to rate your pain from a 1 to 10, a difficulty that I and many others have had is, what's a normal number supposed to be? This is just kind of normal, so how do I know where my pain is if this is my normal? And some genius on the internet had to tell us that the normal number is 0. We're not supposed to feel pain all the time. And if you deal with chronic pain, then there's one of our sources of burnout right there. It's very draining. It isn't fair. And if nobody has ever told you that, I will tell you now. It isn't fair. One of the large reasons that cause burnout is just lack of validation. On some level that you're going through a lot of you're going through a lot of strife. You're struggling just to do your job, and this could be your dream job. You could have just started your dream job. Everything's going well. And then suddenly you find you're not looking forward to going to work as much anymore. You still enjoy the work, but it's difficult to get out of bed. You're feeling tired, cranky. Just everything is bothering you. These are all forms of burnout, and things that might contribute. Maybe the commute. It could just be the commute adding to your stress day by day. The peanut gallery that I mentioned earlier did a hour and a half commute for 2 years, just so we wouldn't have to pick up and move, because we move a lot. So it helped me to not have to move that one time. But as much as my husband enjoyed his job, we could really see that the commute was weighing on him. If you have your dream job, and to be completely hyperbolic, before walking into the office, before walking through the doors, someone just steps on your foot every morning, just stomps on it. And you have to put up with that every morning. It doesn't matter what your job is, that is going to get old pretty quickly. And that is not something that you should have to deal with. So if you find yourself regularly just tired, irritable, uh, as I put in my description, if you've tried, exercising and eating healthier, going to bed earlier, these are all great things. However, if there are unaddressed, unresolved, functional conflicts, those factors may not even help. Now, a couple years ago, I had to take a class prescribed for people with trauma, who've dealt with any sort of emotional or physical trauma that could yield PTSD, and it helped with stress management, and gave us tools to really center ourselves and keep our keep our goals and our techniques focused. Before I get to that, I have to pull in this exercise that I learned from a seminar just way back at the beginning of my career, before I even really understood what it meant to have a career. And I was in this seminar with a bunch of people at different stages in their career, and this life coach had us do an exercise. And what you want to do is make sure that you have a sheet of paper in front of you, pen and paper, or if you're on your laptop, divide the paper into, I am reading notes. You've got to have notes. As my high school German teacher would say, dumb people remember, smart people write things down. So today, if all else fails, I had all the technical snafus, but it's written down. So I'm smart today. So divide the sheet of paper into 5 columns, or open a spreadsheet and make sure you have 5 columns. Now, set that aside, and on another sheet of paper or off to the side in your document, we're going to look at project managers might giggle because you've heard this before. Words are hard. SMART methodology. So we want our method to be specific, measurable, attainable. We want to make sure everything in this plan is relevant, and we want to have a time limit on it. So let's keep it specific. Let's target a specific area for improvement. Pick anything. Let's go with you want to get more sleep. So make sure that's measurable. Quantify or at least suggest an indicator of progress. So that could be, make sure you get at least 6 hours of sleep a day. Make sure it's attainable. It has to be realistic given available resources. So let's assume you can get those 6 hours of sleep. Is it relevant? Does it align with other goals that you might have? And time limit. Specify when the results can be achieved. So let's say you want to do this for a week. At the end of the week, evaluate how you're doing. Now, if you get to the end of the week and you're seeing seeing problems, then, like you're working two jobs with incredibly ridiculous hours. You might struggle with getting those 6 hours of sleep every night. And that is unhealthy and unfortunate, but I know that that is the reality that many of us live in. And if nothing else, I want you to hear and understand and accept that it is not your fault. It is not a reflection of you. You are not your job. You have value in yourself just because you exist. Honestly, remember the pain scale. We're not supposed to be in pain. If what you're doing is causing you a lot of physical stress, there may not be much you can do about it. But understand that this is not a reflection of who you are. This is not a reflection of your value, because you just inherently have value. Get off my soapbox for a little bit. Not that you'd see much height difference between me sitting up and standing down. The next exercise that I want you to consider is the spreadsheet, or the paper with 5 columns. So, in the first column, write a goal that you have. Second column, how long have you had this goal? Third column, list roadblocks that you have faced when trying to attain this goal. Fourth column, record what you've done in the past 24 hours to further your goal. And the final step, and this is where a lot of people might roll their eyes, how do you expect to feel once you attain your goal? So the SMART methodology that we went over previously is how to do something, whatever it is, whatever you need to do. And just side note, when I learned this, I learned it in a business class I was taking, and then in the trauma PTSD recovery class, I learned it there. So it was like, lesson of the week, back to Sesame Street. Now, a goal that I have had forever, and one that I immediately put down in this seminar, was I've always wanted to be a writer. I want to write a book, and I want I want people to read it. I mean, I want it to be good. So, when how long have I had this goal? My entire life. Roadblocks included school. When I was taking this seminar, I had, within a couple years of that time, we have a sick kitty at home. That's why I'm not in the studio. Can I see her real quick? Come on, give me my baby. Give me my baby. Hi. Here we go. Oh, I got both of them. I have 2 gremlins. Yay. Sorry for the impromptu cat break. Mm-hmm. What? You're sitting on my lap. And you're being antisocial. You're off camera. Here you go. You good? Okay. You've had your moments of fame. Good job. So, yeah, this is our sick kitty. She's been having a very rough month. Roadblocks. A roadblock can be a sick cat. This stream is interesting today because I value this critter more than I value my public image. But for writing a book, I struggled with work-life balance. I thought it was, just time management, but it was just that there were not enough hours in the day for me to go to school. I had finished my bachelor's degree. I had finished an associate's in applied science. And I was just beyond burned out because for my undergrad, I would have to write 2 to 3 essays a week, one in Spanish, one in German, and then one, at least one humanistic studies paper on some lofty topic I had to argue. And sometimes I'd have to do that in one of the other languages because those were adjacent to humanistic studies anyway. So there was no way that if I wanted to see anybody, if I wanted to see any of my friends, I had to sacrifice time spent on writing. I couldn't write for myself because that at that time would not have been good for my mental health. Humans are generally social creatures. We need each other. Some people need less than others, and that's okay. And one thing that I didn't really understand at the time was that, my inability to write then did not make me a bad writer. It made me a tired human. And it, I was going to say it's okay. But more to the point, it's okay to not be okay. Sometimes things just happen. So, what have I done in the past 24 hours to further my goal now? I'm actually doing writing exercises now. I am doing things that pertain to this goal. I'm working on my manuscripts, and I read. I read all the time, and I really enjoy it. But one thing that veteran authors get annoyed hearing when they ask an aspiring writer, well, what are you reading right now? And they say, oh, I'm just too busy with my own book to do any reading. No, that doesn't work. You need to be exposed to your craft. At least I can speak definitively about that on writing. At the time when I was sitting in that seminar, all I really had was not much. I was still even a bit burned out on reading books because that's all I did for 6 years. Any waking moment that wasn't spent with other people, I was doing homework. So how do I expect to feel after I've written a book, gotten it published, people are reading it, if you are thinking, well, I'll feel accomplished? I I said that to the lady sitting next to me, and she chuckled. I don't know if it was entirely genuine or if she just thought, oh, look, it thinks it's cute. Um, but when I really thought about it, and of course in this seminar, we were put in small groups where we were supposed to do this together, and discuss our answers. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking, if I don't know any of you, these are very personal questions. Why would I want to discuss that with a group of strangers like I'm doing now? But, we're all part of the same herd. It's fine. We're not strangers. Even if we don't know each other, we're just friends we haven't met yet. Um, but I just think it's really unfair to expect somebody to come up with answers like these, for these within what, maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes. And if you've never considered it before, it's it's like sitting in class and not having the right answer to uh, the right answer to a question, and then you're at the chalkboard, teacher's waiting for you to write the answer. Sorry, I guess nobody's going to lunch. But I finally realized, and it actually hit me then, that I expect to feel heard. And this is where I started really thinking about how far validation will get you. Um, when I was growing up, I'm an army brat, so we moved all the time, and the hardest move that I ever experienced was going from a little military base in Germany and moving back to the United States. Olympia, Washington is where we moved to, and it's a really pretty state, but I experienced culture shock because there was a huge disconnect between my lived experience and everybody else's. There was culture shock is, that's another factor in burnout. Just if you ever find yourself in a new culture, whether it's a new town, a new country, even a new job, you can experience culture shock. And I didn't start to heal from that until one of my new friends, and I had not been a good friend. I mean, I tried. I went through all the motions, but until I just stopped and thought, maybe I should apologize for how difficult I've probably been. And my friend did later assure me that I hadn't been difficult. I just seemed really sad and angry about something that I wouldn't share. Um, but I apologized to her for being so grumpy all the time, and at that moment she just said, it's okay, you need to, you're struggling with it, and you just need to talk through it. And that validation just got rid of the majority of the I guess of the depression that I was feeling, and makes me a little emotional to think about, because she was just so wonderful and so lovely, and it just helped so much. And that's that's the sort of validation that I think everybody should have, especially when you're looking at goals. if you're really working on something and it just falls through and nobody can see the time that you put in, everything that you tried to do, it feels like it was pointless. When my husband and I moved to Silicon Valley, I spent the first 2-3 years trying to build a business, and it did well. Injured my shoulder, and then I had to change careers. Uh, Massage therapy might not be a great career for active people who are frequently getting bruised, pulling muscles, because you want to take a martial arts class. I don't know. That was my experience. There are actually a lot of massage therapists who do martial arts. So they're sympathetic. But I had put so much time into it, and then after it folded, I was so upset, not because I wasn't doing massage therapy anymore, but because it's like I don't have anything to show for it. I'm just unemployed, and I have to start over again. At that time, I had not had anybody to tell me that I am not my job. And I was telling my husband that I'm not doing anything, and I kept saying that because I had no deliverables, to use industry language. So, and he took me at face value because he was working a lot. Remember, he was commuting. He had his 1.5 to 2 hour commute, which would take 3 to 4 hours out of his day just for commuting, so that I could build a massage practice or just try something. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? But when I was able to slow down and explain, here are all the things that I've done and I've got nothing to show for it, he said, that sucks. And there were no solutions. Not at that time. But just the validation, like, now we're on the same page. He just said, that sucks. And I felt so much better. It wasn't a solution. But again, just the validation, I was not all those failures. If you're trying things and you're just failing left and right, may sound like a cliche, but a lot of cliches are true. We have all failed so many times because we keep trying. Let's take something small. I've always wanted to take up pottery. I haven't done it, but let's say I have, and I'm, sitting in class, and the clay just keeps, it isn't doing what I want it to do. And then I'm sitting next to somebody who just has the touch. They've got the power. Yeah. Comedic genius in my own mind. They're just rolling with it, doing their thing, and everything's falling apart. And it's easy to feel like a failure when you're comparing yourself to somebody else who's either been doing it for a while, who has done related activities. Because even if you're not pouring all of your time into that thing, whether you realize it or not, you are building skills that you need just for everyday life. This is where, if we go back to our 5-column exercise, you want to make sure that um, that all of the goals that you are working on are relevant to each other. You want to make sure that you have done something in the past 24 hours to contribute to what you're trying to build. And I think I can talk about this openly now that we're coming out of quarantine. The first time I gave this seminar, we were still trying to figure out what are we even doing with our lives? What are we supposed to do at home for a year? A lot of people were out of work, a lot of people on unemployment, and we've been reading all of the periodicals coming out talking about how people don't really want to go back to work because they're getting better compensation on unemployment. Now, I will not get into the politics behind that, but I will talk about how there's that validation, that human validation. People were able to pay bills without having to juggle. What do I need to pay first? Who's going to have the least? Who's going to have the lesser late fee if I have to pay late? I think a lot of us have done this, and just going down the list. The very first thing that anyone needs to consider is you need food in your stomach. Your stomach is very unlikely to negotiate with you. After that, before we came out here and had more stability with primarily with the peanut gallery's job, because he's just really talented and awesome. And yeah, if he wasn't my best friend, I think I would hate him. Not true. I don't. Nah. Waste of time to hate people. But just that peace of mind, not having to go to the leasing office and say, hey, could you give me a couple more days? I can't pay this. It's more humanizing. Pain and strife is dehumanizing. And it doesn't even need to be anything intentional. Like, if it's just like, think of doctors, think of all medical personnel during the pandemic. The conditions they've had to live under to keep all of us as safe as they could. It is not fair. It really sucks. It put way more stress on them than anybody should have to deal with on such a regular basis. We are built to handle periodic stress. That's okay. But we can't just, we can't keep doing that to ourselves. So, any medical professionals, what you've gone through really sucks. You've done your best. Where you weren't able to do enough, sometimes that just happens. Think of an umbrella. If I step outside and it's raining, I'll stand under my umbrella and I'll keep dry. If I take that same umbrella and stand under a waterfall, no, that isn't enough. And that's just working with what we have. It isn't an inherent, there's no inherent message on it for any of us. It's just what we have to work with. So, what I would like everyone to take away from this is, whether you realize it or not, you're doing your best. If you're thinking, no, I'm not, I haven't even gotten out of my pajamas in the past 5 days, I don't even want to take a shower, you're doing your best. Things are hard. Life is a series of challenges, and you deserve to be validated. I do believe that everybody, as long as nobody's getting hurt, as long as you're not, as long as you're not hurting each other, everybody deserves to feel safe and happy. Just it's really it's difficult when you don't have that validation. So if nothing else, if you've gotten nothing else from this stream, just please remember that you have value, you matter. It's okay to not be okay. And check out the BABSCon Discord. There's a huge community of people, ponies, pony peeps, who believe in the magic of friendship. And that's something that I think we all need to remember. So that is all I have got for now. Everybody stay safe, take care of each other, and if you want to get a hold of me in Discord, on Twitch, my handle is justjukka, JUSTJUKKA. Send me a message, ask me questions, and I will see you on the other side. Take care, everyone.